Today, its envoy, Martin Griffiths, is in the area. He's going to try to renew those peace talks. I spoke to Elisabeth Kendall, Yemen expert at the University of Oxford.
There have been some positive signs. Concessions have been made on both sides. Some of the areas in which the Houthis had been pressing for obstacles to be removed have now been removed. They can evacuate some of their wounded to Oman. They've been guaranteed safe passage back to Yemen after the talks. And they have themselves said that they will stop firing missiles if Saudi is willing to make peace. So some of the right noises have been made. We have to be cautious, though, because talking peace is easy. Actually doing the measures is much more difficult. So the UN Special Envoy definitely has a tough path ahead of him. That said, I think this is the best chance we've had yet.
Both sides recently expressed support for Martin Griffiths' efforts. He's been here before. He was here in September. What does he need to do differently to try and push this along?
What he needs to do differently this time is to make sure all the assurances are in place for both parties before the talks are announced. That is exactly what he's doing, because you'll notice he's been very careful not to give a date for the prospective talks in Sweden yet. He said they're close and that many of the preparatory issues have been resolved, but they haven't given a date because I think this time round it's really important not to announce the talks and not to bring one side to the talks without every little detail being ironed out in advance.
What sort of assurances will both sides be looking to?
I think the Houthis will be looking for the assurances that I just mentioned, which are that they will be able to get back to Yemen after the talks, and that the Saudis will cease their airstrikes if they cease launching drones and missiles at Saudi. It's so difficult because nobody wants to make the first step. So this is where Martin Griffiths comes in. He has to give both sides those assurances that the other side will honour a commitment if they do. I think he's a very skilled negotiator. I have quite a lot of confidence in him being able to pull this off.
Now, Saudi King Salman told the Shura Council, his country's top advisory body, that the kingdom backed a political solution and a comprehensive national dialogue in Yemen. What would that look like?
A political solution would have to involve all sides. He wasn't specific about the kind of political solution he wanted, but a comprehensive national dialogue would need to include outlying regions, and it would need to include specifically some of the actors within the south of Yemen who have been agitating for secession from Yemen proper. Now, certainly in King Salman's mind was not the issue of splitting Yemen into two states again.
What we see is that no side seems to be backing down yet, and the key, it seems, is to gain control of the port of Hodeidah.
Yes, Hodeidah is a strategically very important battlefront because it's the port through which about 70% of Yemen's food needs are transported. So whoever controls that port really has the lives of millions of Yemenis in the balance. A neutral body, perhaps the United Nations, being handed control of the port could be one solution.
And that was Elisabeth Kendall, Yemen expert at the University of Oxford.